Alright people, so welcome to our current affairs lecture series, and today we are going to cover 26th of August's current affairs. Okay, so all the important news items that were covered in that day's newspaper shall be covered in today's lecture within 30 minutes. And mind you, we are only focusing on those news items, those news articles which are relevant for UPSC examination. Others we ignore, simply ignore, because that is not relevant. Your memory, your brain has limited capacity, so fill it up with useful things only. Okay, so pay close attention for these next 30 minutes, and just after this lecture, you have to revise this lecture from the notes provided by us. That is also extremely important, so do that as well. Clear? So without further delay, without further ado, let's straight away dive into today's lecture. So let's begin. So daily current affairs, okay, and well, it is 26th of August, and here are the topics that we are going to cover. So topic number one is AI's threat to critical financial systems. So we'll talk about this. Then topic number two is ship rescue in international waters. Who rescues a particular ship when it is floating in international waters? Because international waters are beyond any country's jurisdiction. So the rescue efforts fall on which authority? Okay, where does the buck stop? It is very important from the perspective of understanding international maritime law. So this is important. And then there was this news article in Indian Express by C. Raja Mohan talking about India's Central Asian strategy. What foreign policy strategy do we have with respect to Central Asian Stan countries, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan? Okay, so we'll talk about this as well. So these are the three news items that we shall zero in our attention on. So let's start discussing them one by one. Starting with topic number one, and that is AI's threat to critical financial systems. Now, you see, you must have noticed this from past 1 week. We have been talking a lot about cyber frauds and how AI is changing the whole game. Cyber security, cyber threats have become increasingly very important in this day and age of AI, because AI has made it really simple to attack the cyber systems of any organization, any country, right? So cybersecurity is a theme for this past 1 week. And the simple reason for that is because there are so many news articles featuring in all newspapers with respect to AI and cybersecurity. Now, today we are going to talk about AI and cybersecurity with respect to the vulnerability faced by our financial systems. Okay. Now, there are two regulators in India. One is Reserve Bank of India, RBI, which regulates and is responsible for the safety and security of our banking system. There is this another financial regulator called SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is responsible for ensuring the security of all these market platforms. Okay, stock markets, stock exchanges, Bombay Stock Exchange. Okay, so these financial markets, stock markets and bond markets, they come under SEBI. Both RBI and SEBI know that because of AI and because of these cybersecurity threats, banking has become risky, it is vulnerable to cyber attacks, and these market platforms, these market stock exchanges are becoming, or they have become, extremely vulnerable. Both of these regulators are aware of these financial risks. Okay. Now, what have they done to stop this or prepare India's financial systems from these cyber threats? Okay, what steps they have taken? So we are going to focus on that part. Clear? So let's talk about this. How RBI is protecting the banking system, how SEBI is protecting these stock exchanges, stock market. Clear? Make sense? Okay then, let's straight away dive into this topic as well. So AI's threat to critical financial systems. Okay, so financial regulators in India, RBI and SEBI, have updated their cybersecurity and surveillance regulations, rules, to counter the growing use of AI and machine learning in financial fraud and infrastructural intrusions. Okay. In response, SEBI basically has introduced this index, IT Resilience Index, which all market platforms, stock markets have to basically calculate and prepare for it. Okay. While RBI updated its market cybersecurity directions, mandatory for all banks. Okay. And there is this kill switch mechanism also. We'll talk about that. But first, let's talk about, well, how AI is changing the game of cybersecurity. Okay, so AI-driven financial threat evolution. So in the beginning, when there was no AI, there were conventional cyber attacks. Now, one way of cyber fraud was human speed phishing. Phishing attacks are basically fooling you. So someone gives you a call, they give you a whole story, and you end up sharing your bank account number with them. Okay, or there is this link. Okay, so someone sends you a notice from income tax department, you click on a particular link, fill in your details, and well, those details go to a hacker who hack into your bank account. That was the case. Then there were known viruses, malware, malicious softwares that they were inserted into your banking system. So what banks used to do was, well, their cybersecurity experts used to conduct monthly audits to check for these malwares, to check for these phishing attacks and everything. Okay, suspicious activity in the bank account of any customer, they used to do this. But now with generative AI, well, to solve for this phishing problem, well, any transaction, suppose you want to take a bank loan, okay, there will be OTP, Aadhaar verification, then there would be video KYC, okay. They would talk to you, talk to you on a video call to confirm whether you are applying for a loan, okay. All of this was done. Now, all of this can be faked with deep fake videos, voice clones, which is known as phishing. Plus, now these softwares are extremely strong. They are not normal malwares. They are coordinated string of malwares. We have talked about this, okay? So if a particular malware is not working, is not able to breach a banking system, the AI would quickly write another code and then try to breach it, okay? Constant attacks. Now, there is this another problem which SEBI is particularly facing. These AI platforms and these generative AI tools are being used for algorithmic trading, machine trading. Your AI agent will trade in the stock market on your behalf, and they do a lot of manipulations of the stock market. And when all of this is being done in bulk, it leads to market manipulation, which SEBI doesn't want. Okay, so both of them, SEBI has created this index and RBI has created these new rules for banks. Okay, they have to do incident reporting, kill switch and all. We'll talk about this. Now, how have these systems, how AI has changed the game? Okay, number one is deep fake voice and video cloning, phishing attacks. We have talked about this, okay? Now, to fool the video KYC, well, you will play your own video or that person's video. Basically, deep fake videos, deep fake voices can fool system operators. This is there. Then automated vulnerability discovery. Offensive AI models can scan core banking and exchange softwares used by banks to find zero-day vulnerabilities. We have talked about zero-day vulnerabilities, okay? Those loopholes in your cybersecurity system which have not been discovered by you also. AI can discover it and hack into your system, okay? Algorithmic collusion and synthetic identities. This algorithmic trading, machine trading, okay? Machines are trading in the stock market on your behalf, and they are very well skilled to basically manipulate the system. Creation of synthetic digital identities, okay, AI identities, AI faking to be a person. To open mule accounts and coordinate rapid multi-hop money laundering can be done through banking systems. So it has become, because of AI, very easy. Now, what has been the response of SEBI and RBI? First, let's talk about SEBI. So SEBI has created this IT Resilience Index, ITRI. Okay. Now, what is this IT Resilience Index? All market institutions like Bombay Stock Exchange, National Stock Exchange, all the other market operators have to calculate this index of their organization, whether their system is resilient from cyber attacks. Okay. Now, they will calculate their system's performance on this index based on these 9 parameters: core security and uptime, governance and continuity, scalability, and others. You don't have to remember the percentages. I've just given it. But based on these 9 parameters, you have to calculate a score every 6 months. All market operators, okay? So the core features of this ITRI: all vulnerabilities shall be discussed by the board of directors in the boardroom, quantified boardroom accountability, and action taken would also be discussed. Then rolling comparative audits. Every 6 months, you'll do this, okay? And you will compare the improvement of these 6 months with the previous 6 months. That has to be done, okay? Stage incident life cycle reporting. Whenever a cybersecurity incident has happened, well, there is a phased manner of reporting it. You'll report the initial incident, then you'll do a proper investigation, and then you'll give a detailed report after 3 months, then a more detailed report after 6 months. So SEBI has given you the option of phased reporting. Okay, there is a proper life cycle. And AI-driven regulatory surveillance. If cybersecurity experts are using AI to hack into your system, you also use AI to protect your systems. So use AI for surveillance also. Use AI for surveillance whether there is any malicious activity in Bombay Stock Exchange. Use AI for that. Clear? Make sense? RBI has also done the same. RBI has come out with another set of measures for banking system. Okay, RBI's cyber security and fraud defense measures. So first of all, there is board level accountability. All bank boards will be held accountable, and they will prescribe accountability. And 6-hour incident reporting. Whenever there is an incident, you have to inform RBI within 6 hours. If any bank is facing any cybersecurity fraud, there has to be reporting of that fraud within 6 hours. Financial institutions must maintain specialized IT risk committees and enforce mandatory 6-hour reporting window to notify regulator of any compromise. Okay. Then kill switch mechanism. There is a cyber fraud against a customer of a bank. The customer gets to know about it because there is suspicious activity in their bank account. They should be given the option to kill their account temporarily. This is known as the kill switch mechanism. Lock, freeze, disable all debit, credit card payment channels from their accounts as soon as they detect it. Okay, this is done so that the person who has hacked into your bank account cannot do further transactions. This option should be given. And updated fraud compensation framework. Whenever there is a cyber fraud against you, there are certain mechanisms through which you can seek compensation. But those compensations didn't cover AI-related cyber frauds. Now they do. Okay, so these are the measures taken by both RBI and SEBI, massive regulators of our financial system. Clear? There is a point-by-point comparison of RBI and SEBI's steps, okay, which is given in this table. This table is shared in your notes, so do check it out as well. If there is any doubt, do ask us that out, right? And now let's quickly shift our focus to next news item, and that is ship rescue in international waters. Now, this is very important. You see ships travel in international waters. But what do we mean by international waters? International waters are those waters which do not come under the jurisdiction of any one particular country. So from India's coastline, 12 nautical miles into the sea, that is territorial waters. That lies within the sovereign jurisdiction of India. Then 200 nautical miles from India's coastline is exclusive economic zone. All the economic activities in that area would be in India's control. But beyond that is international waters. A ship traveling in international waters and then it faces any disaster and it requires rescue. Which country will protect it? Since international waters does not fall under any country's jurisdiction, whose responsibility is it to conduct search and rescue operations? Well, no country is held responsible for that. But countries do cooperate with each other to protect these ships in international waters, and that is because of an international law. Now, what is this international legal architecture through which nearby countries are bound to conduct these search and rescue operations? You need to be aware of that also, because recently an incident occurred in the Arabian Sea. Okay, so let's talk about this. It is very important to understand maritime law, international maritime law. Clear? So ship rescue in international waters. So why was it in the news? Sinking of Panama flagged bulk cargo MV Ocean Winner in Bay of Bengal, not Arabian Sea, Bay of Bengal, 378 nautical miles from Visakhapatnam, which means in international waters, highlighted operational and legal mechanisms governing deep sea. That means in international waters, search and rescue operations. Okay. In this particular case, for this Panama flagged cargo vessel, well, coordinating Indian Coast Guard, Indian Naval Long-Range Maritime Patrol Aircraft, commercial vessels were there, Chinese rescue ships were also brought in, exemplifies how countries cooperate for SAR operations. SAR means search and rescue operations. Okay. Now, remember this part. Okay. Under international maritime law, state responsibility for saving lives at sea is non-negotiable. Okay. All countries are bound by this international maritime law if they have signed this treaty, okay? And they have to save any lives, even if in international waters, if those lives or that ship is in their vicinity, okay? India's jurisdiction. Now, what has been done? So you see, so that there is proper coordination. So the entire world, the waters, the oceans of the world have been divided into search and rescue region. So there is Indian search and rescue region. So if anything happens there, India will go. India's prime responsibility would be to go there and protect. Okay. Indian search and rescue region, then Chinese search and rescue region. So India's search and rescue region is 4.6 million square kilometers. Okay. Double the size of our exclusive economic zone. Remember, if this is India's coastline, 12 nautical miles is India's waters. 200 nautical miles is exclusive economic zone. And well, double this area is search and rescue region of India. Okay. So how the system operates on an operational level? So whenever there is an incident, whenever vessel faces imminent peril, there is a communication system, GMDSS, alert is triggered. Okay. That alert is received. Telemetry is the communication system. Distress beacon picked up by Maritime Rescue Coordination Center in India, nearby Maritime MRCC. Joint Task Coordination, Search and Rescue Mission Coordinator. There is an officer called SAR Mission Coordinator. He basically tells people, Navy people, Coast Guard people to conduct this operation. Okay. Multilateral entry. Foreign state and rescue vessels enter search grid under Search and Rescue Conventions, rules and regulations. Clear? Now here are some details with respect to telemetry and communication. This is not that important, but I've still given it in your notes. Okay. Because some people have some interest in science and technology, communication systems, so that is why, though it is not that relevant. But this tells you what communication systems are used so that a distressed ship can communicate to the nearby areas for search and rescue. Okay, so there is Global Maritime Distress and Safety System, an international system. Digital selective calling, emergency position indicating radio beacon. This is an emergency communication system. If all of this is not working, this will detach from your ship and will like shout, okay, in radio frequency, basically, to inform the nearby authorities. This system that there is a distress, okay, alarm would. This is a kind of an alarm. Clear? Now, you need to be aware of the international legal architecture. Okay, which international laws allow countries to cooperate and conduct these search and rescue operations in international waters? Clear? So one is UN clause, the biggest treaty, United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea, Article 98. It is the duty of every country to render assistance in such cases. Then, International Convention for Safety of Life at Sea, Regulation 33, imposes an absolute legally binding duty on ship captains. Upon receiving an emergency alert, the master of a vessel at sea must proceed with full speed to assistance of persons in distress. So if a ship is in international waters, okay, and there is this another ship that is going on, this ship gets destroyed. Okay, now search and rescue operations have to be conducted. The nearby merchant ship should also come to its rescue. It is mandated by this law. It's not just countries, Coast Guard, Navy that would come to the rescue. Merchant ships, private ships would also, it is their duty. And International Convention on Maritime Search and Rescue, Global Grid Division. So the entire world is divided into these 13 search and rescue divisions, like Indian Search and Rescue Division. So there are these 13. This is as per SAR Convention 1979. So remember these three laws, maritime laws, international laws. Clear? Now, as per these laws, every country has to maintain a proper search and rescue system. Okay? Now, if we talk about India's search and rescue system, well, it is a proper hierarchical system. India's search and rescue command structure. This is handled by National Maritime Search and Rescue Coordinating Authority, whose head is Director General of Indian Coast Guard. Now, this authority maintains three offices. One is MRCC Mumbai. If anything happens in the Arabian Sea, they will conduct search and rescue operations. If anything happens in Bay of Bengal, MRCC Chennai. MRCC Sri Vijayapuram Port Blair, this is for regions nearby Andaman and Nicobar. Okay. As soon as an alert is given, MRCC appoints an SAR Mission Coordinator, SMC. It is his job to ensure that there are enough Coast Guard assets like officers, vehicles, patrol vehicles, boats for rescue. Naval aerial reconnaissance. There are naval aircraft nearby for reconnaissance, for recce, to gather information. So the aircraft would fly in the international waters to capture images, to assess the damage. And merchant traffic diversion. If there is any merchant ship, you can direct that merchant ship to go for rescue, since it is their duty. Remember? So this is done by SMC coordinator, posted at these MRCCs. Clear? Now this table is very important. Okay, this gives you the idea, the legal idea. So in territorial waters up to 12 nautical miles, well, it is completely India's responsibility. Clear? In exclusive economic zone, sovereign rights over living, non-living natural resources, no territorial sovereignty. Okay? This is territorial sovereignty. This is not territorial sovereignty, but still India would be responsible for SAR. But in high seas, it goes as per SAR region, territorial division. Okay? This is India SAR region. So proper different regions in the high seas are given in this table. Do check it out. It is very important, and MCQ will definitely come out of this table. So it is important. Okay, what are territorial waters? What are exclusive economic zones? High seas, international waters, Indian search and rescue region. The 13 regions, remember? So this is that. Right? That would be all. And now let's quickly shift our focus to last news item of the day, and that is India's Central Asia strategy. Okay. Now there was this editorial in the Indian Express newspaper authored by C. Raja Mohan, a known international affairs expert. Okay. He writes quite frequently. Now he has criticized India's foreign policy vis-a-vis Central Asia. He says that whenever we conduct this foreign policy, we mostly focus on romantic ideas, that we have historical roots, we have historical ties, okay? And based on those historical ties, this romantic notion, we conduct our foreign policy ties. But we have to be realistic, because Central Asia is very important. China is making inroads, America is making inroads, Gulf countries are making inroads, Turkey is entering the region, okay? Therefore, we have to be more practical also. So focus on practical deals with the Central Asian countries rather than these big, lofty, romantic notions. That's his argument, prime argument. Okay, so let's talk about his argument, right? So let's begin. So India's Central Asia strategy. Remember, Central Asia are these countries which are north of Afghanistan, all these Stan countries, right? Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, all these. So this is his argument. For decades, Indian diplomacy approached Central Asia through prism of shared civilizational affinities, Silk Route nostalgia, historical romance, because Kushana Empire was common to North India and Central Asia. However, this cultural goodwill has not translated into substantive geopolitical weight or commercial benefits for India. Okay, India's Central Asia bilateral trade, that includes all the Stan countries, is just $2.5 billion, which is nothing. Okay, China trades a lot with them. Meanwhile, Eurasian heartland has transformed. The Central Asian states are aggressively pursuing multi-vector foreign policies. What do we mean by this multi-vector? They are not following any camp. They are engaging with USA, they are engaging with Gulf, they are engaging with Turkey, they are engaging with Russia, they are engaging with China. And they are also inviting India. They are following multi-vector policy. Okay? So we should focus on tangible outcomes with our Central Asian policy. Okay? This is the problem. So our legacy engagement is over-reliance on romance, Silk Road, cultural goodwill. But we are facing problems in this region. First of all, there is connectivity problem. The reason why trade is not great with them is because we do not have, well, any way for conducting that trade. Okay, there are no oceans connecting India and Central Asia. There is only one land corridor, and Pakistan lies in between. Earlier, when Pakistan was not there, trucks used to go from Punjab to Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, okay, when India was united. But Pakistan has blocked all access to Central Asia from India. So India does not have any land corridor. We tried bypassing Pakistan via Iran through international north-south trade corridor via Iran, Chabahar port. But this is currently stalled because of US-Iran war. And now, within Central Asia, China, Gulf countries, Turkey are making inroads. And if India does not enter this place, well, these countries would eat up India's share of goodwill. Okay? Plus, well, Central Asia is extremely rich in energy, hydrocarbons, oil and gas, and also nuclear fuel. Kazakhstan has a lot of uranium and also critical minerals. China is going to capture all these critical minerals, and then India would have nothing. India needs to be really cautious and devise a strategy very quickly. This is the thing. Clear? Now, Central Asia's multi-vector policy, which countries they are engaging with? China is expanding its footprint. Pragmatic engagement with Kabul. Okay? Central Asian countries have started their engagement with Taliban. Though the world doesn't recognize Taliban because of various issues, Central Asia has started doing that. India has also. Gulf factor. All these countries are making, Saudi Arabia, UAE are making massive investments in oil, gas, nuclear fuel. So they are entering. And Turkey is already there. Because you see, these Stan countries speak Turkic languages. Turkey also speaks Turkic languages. So there is this tribal affinity with them. So they have created organization of Turkic states, which includes all these Stan countries and Turkey. And Turkey is engaging with them at this level. Plus, they are also building a infrastructure road rail corridor also. So these countries have already entered. And we all know China and Turkey, well, for today, they are India's geopolitical rivals. So if they are expanding their footprint in Central Asia, well, India needs to enter this space fast. Okay, but there are various problems. Why is it difficult for India to enter this space? Okay, or it has already entered this space, but increase its footprint in this region. There are various problems. Number one is geographical problem. Remember, Pakistan has blocked our access to Central Asia. They have blocked our access to Afghanistan also. Okay, we have to trade with Afghanistan either through flights or via Iran. Then Chabahar and, well, we have talked about this Chabahar port and because of current situation in Iran. Plus, our bilateral trade with all Stan countries is just $2.5 billion. It's nothing. Already there is trade deficit with them. We buy a lot from them rather than selling them anything. There are problems. Right? Now, this is a comparison between our initial legacy romantic foreign policy and this would be, if we follow this, more practical foreign policy. So we focus on historical ties, but if we'll follow practical foreign policy, we will not focus on historical ties, we'll focus on economic interest, technology transfer, supply chain resilience. Regional perception, we view Central Asia as an arena of great game rivalry where India must project hegemony. Okay, that India needs to project that it is a bigger power. Recognizing that Central Asian states possess strategic agency and seek partnerships with them. Okay, connectivity approach, grand multi-billion-dollar transit mega projects which are delayed like Chabahar and all, targeted air freight corridors, then economic engagement also, we give them credit. We shouldn't do that. We should export our technologies, like we should export our UPI, we should have critical mineral partnership, uranium partnerships with them, so on and so forth. Okay, so this is a proper comparison. Clear? Now, what India can offer to Central Asia so that these guys would be interested in us? Okay, we have to look for practical engagement. Number one, digital public infrastructure. India can export it to any country. And information technology. India is a superpower in that. Use this. What we need from them? We need to conduct these critical minerals and nuclear fuel partnerships. Because these countries would find that India is a big buyer. They can earn a lot of money by selling this to us. And India needs these fuels. Then we can help these Central Asian countries with our expertise in pharmaceutical sector, healthcare sector, education sector. And both our sides, since Central Asian countries are Islamic countries and they also suffer from the problem of Islamist terrorism, right? Therefore, India and Central Asian countries can cooperate on a counter-terrorism and intelligence sharing level. This is something, these are those 4 niches where we can cooperate, right? That's about it. Clear? And that would be all. So with that, we conclude today's session. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. Now, it will add more value if you're number 1, consistent and regular with this lecture series. And number 2, you revise this lecture from the notes provided by us. On that note, I shall take your leave with the promise of seeing you again with another set of news items. Thank you, everyone.